I was thinking about how in English, you literally have to take ownership of your own pain.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point.
Right, because like in Portuguese, if you have a headache, you might say a cabeça está doendo, which is, the head is hurting. It's almost like the head is this totally separate entity that's just causing you trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not your fault.
Exactly. But in English, you can't say the head is aching. You have to say my head is aching. It's your head, your pain, your responsibility. And today, we are diving deep into why the English language is just so utterly obsessed with ownership and how understanding that can completely change the way you speak.
It really is a profound difference in worldview, isn't it? I mean, when you start looking at grammar as like a window into how a culture actually thinks, everything just suddenly clicks into place. But good morning, everyone.
Good morning. And if you're joining us for the very first time, I'm Professor Paulo,
And I am Professor Reichel.
and it is April 16th, 2026. Today, we are reviewing the class notes for March 27 for the English Conversations course. Specifically, we're looking at Group T262.
Yes. Group T262. All of you are currently at the CEFRL level A2, and honestly, the progress we are seeing is just genuinely inspiring.
It really is.
And we want to take a quick second to celebrate exactly who is making that progress. Here at Academia BSB-Cursos Intelligentes, our mission is entirely focused on you. We designed this proprietary distance learning methodology specifically for adult Brazilian women.
Which is so important because, you're balancing careers, families, and just a million daily responsibilities.
Exactly. The fact that you are carving out this time for your own education right here on our online platform, well, that's something to be incredibly proud of.
Absolutely. You are doing the work, and we are just here to guide you through it. So today's mission, we're going to break down some fresh vocabulary to help you describe your chaotic, beautiful families.
We all have them.
Right. We'll also untangle some tricky descriptions, figure out how to claim what belongs to us with those possessive adjectives, and finally, we're going to do a loving critique of a student's family essay.
Which is fantastic, by the way. But to really talk about our lives, we need the right tools first. So let's start with the vocabulary from the current class.
Let's do it. So the words verbatim from your current class notes are, jewelry, angry, hungry, cousin, nephew, niece, fake news, uncle, granddaughter, grandson, great-grandparents, brother-in-law, father-in-law, elderly, currently, and nowadays.
That is quite the list.
It's a lot, right?
It is, but it's such a great mix for talking about, well, a classic Sunday family gathering. Let's look at the time words first. Currently and nowadays. They seem similar, but they have a distinct vibe.
Yeah, I know they can feel interchangeable, but they really aren't. Like, if I say I am currently studying English, it implies this present, maybe temporary state at this exact moment.
Right, whereas nowadays is much broader. It's usually used to draw contrast with the past. Like a synonym would be in these modern times.
Oh, that makes sense. So you wouldn't say, nowadays I am drinking coffee.
No, exactly. You'd say something like, in the past, people wrote letters, but nowadays everyone sends instant messages.
Right, right. And speaking of modern times, let's build that big Brazilian Sunday lunch with these family words. You've got the elderly family members, which is just a really respectful synonym for senior citizens.
Like the great-grandparents, the parents of your grandparents.
Yeah, and then running around the table, you have the granddaughter and grandson, and sitting down to eat, there's your uncle, your father-in-law, the father of your spouse, and your brother-in-law.
And I bet someone is showing off their new jewelry, necklaces or rings, while someone else is getting really angry because they are hungry.
Oh, the classic state of being hangry. I know it well.
We've all been there.
Oh.
And inevitably, someone, maybe that uncle, pulls out his phone and starts reading fake news out loud to the whole table.
Every single time. Fake news, meaning, fabricated information presented as journalism. But wait, looking at this family tree, I have to point out something that just drives native Portuguese speakers crazy.
Oh, I bet I know exactly what you're going to say.
It's nephew and niece, right? In Portuguese, we just swap one vowel. Sobrinho for a boy, sobrinha for a girl. It's so efficient.
It really is.
But English forces us to learn two entirely different words. Nephew for the son of your sibling, and niece for the daughter. Why do English speakers make this so specific and complicated? It's so hard to memorize.
I totally get that frustration. But the reason is actually this amazing piece of linguistic history. So, way back after the Norman conquest of England in 1066.
Wait, really? We're going back that far?
Yeah. The French language became the language of the elite, while the commoners still spoke Old English. So English ended up absorbing all this French and Latin. Nephew comes from the Latin nepotem, which, by the way, is where we get nepotism.
Oh, wow, that's wild.
Right. And niece comes from the Latin neptis. So they evolved on completely separate tracks, rather than just changing the ending of one root word.
So it's literally a 1,000-year-old historical collision that makes our students memorize two different words today. That's fascinating. But does knowing that actually help with memory?
I think so, because it turns an arbitrary rule into a story. But an even better trick is visualization. Don't just memorize the letters. Actually picture the face of your real niece or nephew when you practice the word.
Tie it to a familiar emotion.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, let's see how we describe those family members by looking at the past class vocabulary. You all did exercises 1 through 6.
And there were some really great nuances there. Like in exercise 1, identifying the body part where someone might have a small scar. The answer was chin.
The bottom of your face.
Yeah.
Right. Because toddlers always seem to fall chin first when learning to walk.
Exactly. And in exercise 2, finding the opposite of dirty, the antonym for organized was messy. But let's clarify that. Is messy just a synonym for dirty?
Yeah, like if my kitchen floor has mud everywhere, is that messy?
Not quite. Mud is dirty. It implies grime or bad hygiene. Messy is just about a lack of order. Like, your bedroom could be perfectly sanitized, clean sheets, mopped floors, but if clothes are thrown everywhere, it's messy.
Ah, okay, so a person can be very clean but still have a super messy desk.
Exactly. Then in exercise 3, we had reliable. Someone who keeps their promises. If you break it down, it comes from rely, to depend on someone.
Makes total sense. And for exercise 5, physical descriptions. Someone who eats a lot and avoids exercise is logically fat, and the opposite is slim.
Right. And then exercise 6 had that great cultural idiom, a factory worker does blue-collar work.
Yeah, explain that one because it's such a specific visual.
It's a living fossil of industrial history. Early 20th century manual laborers wore dark blue canvas shirts because that color hid grease, dirt, and sweat way better than light colors.
Oh, which perfectly contrasts with white-collar workers, the office employees sitting at clean desks wearing crisp white shirts.
Exactly. Even though today a software engineer might wear a hoodie, we still use the term white collar. The clothes changed, but the language stayed.
Yeah, it's so cool. Well, digesting all these new words takes a lot of mental energy. Let's take a quick breather, and when we come back, we'll dive into how to use these words in real conversations.
Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, just a quick reminder that one of the best things about studying with Academia BSB is the absolute peace of mind. We know adult life is totally unpredictable, but our distance learning platform is always there, structured and ready whenever you have a quiet moment. You have the power to shape your own learning environment.
Welcome back.
So right before the break, we were talking about all these descriptions, right? Messy rooms, reliable people. And it made me think of my own chaotic family gatherings.
Oh boy, setting the scene.
Yeah, picture this. 30 people crammed into my grandmother's living room. The TV's blasting a soccer game, kids are running wild, and all my aunts are trying to tell a completely different story at the exact same time.
I can hear it now.
They aren't even listening. They're just happily talking right over one another. It is pure, joyful chaos.
That is such a vivid picture, and honestly, the way you just described that scene bridges perfectly into the use of language section from our notes.
Oh, because I use one another.
Exactly. You naturally use that phrase, and I know the difference between each other, one another, and ourselves is a huge point of confusion for learners.
It really is.
Yeah.
So when should a student use each other versus one another?
It's basically just math. Each other is used for exactly two people. Like if you and I are having a private conversation, we are talking to each other. But in your grandmother's living room with 30 aunts all talking at once.
That's 3 or more people.
Right. So they are talking to one another.
Okay, 2 people is each other, 3 or more is one another. Simple. But what about ourselves?
That's a reflexive pronoun. It just means the action reflects back onto the group doing it. Like if we cook dinner with no help, we'd say, we made dinner ourselves.
Let's do a quick role play so people can hear how this sounds in context. Let's say we were at that family party, and we've eaten way too much from the dessert table.
A highly realistic scenario.
So I might turn to you and say, I think it is time for me to go on a diet. Meaning, I need to consciously restrict my eating.
And I would reply, I totally agree. We should do it together so we can support each other. Notice I said each other because it's just the two of us making this pact.
Right. That's a great idea. But we also need the rest of the family on board. We should remind all our relatives to encourage one another to eat healthier too.
Right, because if we don't clear the junk food out of the kitchen, we're just going to sabotage ourselves.
Wow, that flow makes it so clear. The context completely dictates the word.
Exactly. And, from interacting with one another, that shifts us right back to the idea of ownership we talked about at the top of the show, claiming what belongs to us.
Yes. Unit 83 in the grammar notes, possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. Let's define the players. Possessive adjectives are my, your, his, her, its, our, their.
And the possessive pronouns are mine, yours, his, hers, ours, theirs. But the absolute most vital rule here, the one that trips up Portuguese speakers constantly, is that possessive adjectives are never, ever preceded by an article.
This is such a tough habit to break. Because in Portuguese, o meu amigo is perfectly fine. Literally, the my friend.
Right, but in English, you cannot say the my friend, it's just my friend.
Why is English so strict about that?
It's because of how the words function. Both the and my are determiners. They point at a specific noun. If I say my friend, I've already pointed out exactly who I mean. Adding the is like pointing at the same person with two fingers. It's totally redundant.
Because the possessive does all the heavy lifting. One pointer is enough.
Exactly. And that brings us back to body parts. You don't say I wash the hands, you say I wash my hands.
Or clothing, like my shirt is stained. Not the shirt. But I have to ask a crucial clarification question here, because spelling is a massive trap.
Oh, I know where this is going.
Right. Even native English speakers mess this up online all the time. How do students avoid confusing its, spelled I-T-apostrophe-S, with its, without the apostrophe? If an apostrophe usually shows possession, why doesn't the possessive its have one?
It is the great irony of English grammar. So here's the rule to lock in. When dealing with pronouns, the contraction always wins the apostrophe. The apostrophe is a visual placeholder for a swallowed letter.
So it's a footprint of a missing letter, not a hook of ownership.
Yes. IT''S always means it is or it has. Let's hear an affirmative example. He's a cool guy and his friends are cool too. The first one is he is, he's. The second is his friends, the friends belonging to him.
Got it. What about negative?
He isn't driving his car today because it's in the shop. It is in the shop.
An interrogative.
Is he looking for his book because it's lost its cover?
Listen to that. It's lost its cover. It has lost the cover belonging to it. The first one gets the apostrophe because it's a contraction.
You've got it perfectly.
So let's actually see what happens when we take all these rules, family, descriptions, ownership, and put them on paper. The writing assignment for group T262 was, who are the people in your family?
And we have a phenomenal first draft from student Sandra Taisera. And, we want to thank Sandra for letting us share her work.
Yeah, we don't focus on typos you can't hear out loud. We want to look at the grammatical choices that affect the storytelling. And Sandra's piece is wonderfully expressive. She writes, my grandparents are very old. They are very wise. Every weekend, we listen to your amazing stories at the family lunch.
The storytelling is so great. But let's look at that possessive adjective. She wrote, we listen to your amazing stories. Since the stories belong to the grandparents, a third party, the correct word is their.
Right. We listen to their amazing stories. Because if you say your stories, you're telling the reader that the stories belong to the reader.
Exactly. Then she writes, my parents are more beautiful than my husband's parents.
Parent is.
Yeah.
That's a classic false cognate. In Portuguese, that means extended family, like aunts and cousins.
But in English, parents strictly means your mother and father, so she should use relatives here.
Then she describes her brother. Luis, my first brother, is very different for that family.
The preposition needs a little tweak. We don't say different that, we say different from. He is different from the family.
And she really roasts him. She says he's methy, hungry, fat, and needs a diet. But then she talks about his wife, Louisa. She writes, he have your wife, Louisa. I don't understand why she is married with Louise.
Siblings are brutal, but let's fix those possessives. He have your wife, should be, he has his wife, and later she mentions her sister Rebecca saying, your has been strong. That should be, her husband is strong.
Yes. And when we polish those audible choices, the story just shines. Listen to this polished final version. My grandparents are very old and very wise. Every weekend, we listen to their amazing stories at the family lunch. My parents are more beautiful than my husband's relatives. Luis, my oldest brother, is very different from the family. He is messy and always hungry. He is a short man and very fat. I think he should go on a diet. He has his wife, Louisa. She is a sweet woman. I don't understand why she's married to Luis.
My sister Rebecca is an amazing woman. Her husband is strong and caring. They are happier than Louise and Louisa.
I just love that ending. It has humor, contrast, and it uses the vocabulary perfectly. Sandra, with your consent, we want to publish this on the school's blog at students.AcademiaBSB.com/br/blog.
It's way too good not to share. And Sandra, for that fantastic effort, we are rewarding you with a shower of estrelinas. You earn those stars.
Absolutely. And speaking of performance, let's quickly review the overall stats for Group T262. The data on the platform is just phenomenal. You all learned 32 new words, and your active vocabulary size has officially hit 344 words.
That is a comprehensive lexicon. That lets you express real nuance.
It's incredible you've hit 48 minutes of oral fluency, which means you are perfectly on track for the CEFRL B1 level.
That's huge. And what stands out to me is the pronunciation. Your phonetic deviation ratio is down to just 3%.
Wow.
Yeah, especially with words from this class like hour, and there. Portuguese speakers naturally want to pronounce the H in hour, but you've smoothed that out. Hour sounds identical to our OUR.
And you are mastering that voiced the sound in there.
Yeah.
Which is so hard because it requires putting your tongue between your teeth, which isn't really a thing in Portuguese. You're training your muscles, not just memorizing rules.
Totally. And to lock this all in, make sure you review Unit 83 in the grammar materials. Remember the golden rules. No articles before possessives, and body parts always take a possessive adjective.
Okay, before we look ahead, we have to do our gamification break.
Yes, the leaderboard.
At Academia BSB, we believe hard work should be celebrated. Every time you participate or do a module, you earn Estrelin stars on your user profile.
It helps you climb the ranking boards and have a little friendly competition.
And I am thrilled to announce today's stars earned today for our top engaged student profile. 18 stars.
Wow, 18.
Yes. An enthusiastic congratulations to you for putting in the work and climbing that podium.
So well deserved. Now let's talk about the upcoming linguistic scope. Next class, Unit 77, we are covering comparatives Part 2 and, crucially, directions.
How to get from point A to point B. This is literal survival language. You'll learn to say things like, this route is much faster than the other one, or go straight and take the second left.
But here's a fun cliffhanger for you to think about. What happens if you are completely lost in a foreign city, you don't speak the language well, and your phone dies?
Oh no, a nightmare.
Right. No map, no translator. How do you approach a stranger and ask for help? We'll teach you exactly how to survive that next time.
I cannot wait. That is true independence.
It really is. And, before we go, I want to leave you with a thought about ownership. As you go through your week, notice how you talk about people. My family, your husband. It's fascinating how English grammar forces us to explicitly claim our relationships.
It really reveals a cultural perspective that values individual connection. And mastering that transforms you from a student into a communicator. It actually reminds me of a quote by the American author Toni Morrison from her 1993 Nobel Prize lecture.
Oh, I love her. What's the quote?
She said, "We die. That may be the meaning of life, but we do language. That may be the measure of our lives."
Well, we do language. That is beautiful. Every new word you learn, every grammar rule you conquer is an expansion of your world.
Thank you so much for doing language with us today. Keep studying, keep earning those estrelinas, and always remember our school motto.
It's not only about the language.
It's all about communication. Have a wonderful day, everyone.